64% of Minnesota parents who responded to an online survey presented by the Education Department say they're comfortable sending their kids back to a classroom this fall. 11% said they would not be comfortable, and 24% are unsure. The survey is not a scientific poll, but provided a way for state leaders to hear from a large number of parents before they decide whether to reopen schools. Between June 15th and July 6th, more than 134,000 parents responded. Of those who want in-class learning to resume, 94% want it to be full-time. Those not comfortable cite public health concern, medical fragility, and say distance learning went well. Among all respondents, however, 53% say their distance learning experience was bad or very bad, compared to 45% who said good or very good. The main problems cited were students didn't feel empowered and mental health challenges. Experiences that went well, access to internet and technology, and good communication from teachers and schools. Worth noting, however, the survey was done online, requiring internet and technology access. Through a data request, KARE 11 also received 80,000 specific comments from parents. The vast majority are critical of distance learning, a sampling. Mental health declined dramatically amongst my children and their friends. It would not be possible to homeschool again with our work schedules. It was stressful. There was a language barrier. And a couple of the positive ones, it gave my son more of an opportunity to take responsibility for his learning. And distance learning was great because I got to spend extra time with my kids. In a statement, Education Commissioner Mary Catherine Ricker said, "We will listen to the experiences of our families, teachers, and students, and the advice of public health experts to determine a safe path forward." Lou Raguse, KARE 11 News.
Governor Walz has promised to make a decision on what fall school will look like by the last week of July.